In this video, we're going to go over the setup of the ISO exposure exercise. We're going to highlight and show you how it changes from one ISO setting to another of how it affects directly your exposure. So to do that, you're going to take your camera off of the green auto setting and bring it into manual mode. The reason why we're bringing it into manual mode is because we only want to be able to see the effect of changing ISO on our exposure. We don't want our camera to go and try to compensate and make our exposure stay constant by changing other variables like our shutter speed and our aperture. In manual mode, you're able to isolate those individual variables. So what you're first going to do is, using the command dial on the top of your camera, go ahead and pick a shutter speed. Probably picking something along the lines of 1/50th of a second is a great place to start. The next is you're going to set your aperture. To set your aperture on a consumer grade camera, what you're probably going to have to do is press this plus minus button that's either located on the back or somewhere on the top of your camera. It may have the letters AV next to it if it's also a Canon camera. If it's a Nikon camera, it may have a symbol that looks like the diaphragm of the inside of a lens of aperture. So what you will do is hold that down and then rock it back and forth, the command dial on top. What you're going to want to do is take it so that the lowest f-stop value possible that your camera has with this particular lens is available. In this case, it's 5.6 on this particular kit lens when I've got it zoomed into 55. The last step now is we're going to be using the ISO to change it and see what the effects are. So we're going to, in this case, take it off of ISO auto. It's very simple to do. If you're on a Canon camera, you just merely press the ISO button and then go ahead and use that command dial to go back and forth. If you're using a Nikon camera though, you're going to most likely have to go deep into the menu, first turn ISO auto off, and then be able to go through and individually pick the different ISOs and go forward and do the series of shots that I'm going to describe. All right, so once you've done that, go ahead and put your ISO at 100. In some Nikon cameras, the lowest you maybe have available to you is 200. So go ahead, bring your camera up to your eye, and take a shot. It should probably be very, very dark, particularly if you're inside. Go ahead, press the ISO button again, and bring it up to the next value, probably 200. Go ahead, take your shot. You're going to continue with this series and just continue to taking the shots with the different ISOs as they get higher and higher. What you're going to notice is that the image that you're taking is going to be getting brighter and brighter and more exposed essentially. The reason being is that the higher your ISO, the more sensitive your sensor is to light. We are not actually letting in any extra light as our ISO goes higher. It's just the fact that it's making it seem more sensitive to the light. And that's all it is to ISO. So once you've gone through and done the full line of all the different ISOs that your camera has available to you, go ahead and look back at the series and review it and see how it starts out very dark, not very sensitive to light, and it gets very, very bright probably towards the end where it's extremely sensitive to light.